Hello everybody, today I am here to present to you my latest RoboCraft build. It is a tier 5 SMG tank, fittingly called the Treadnaught. The purpose of this build is to have a at tier, as in there's no over tiered parts on this bot, which is strong and can take a hit, and I think I've managed exactly that. So without further ado, let's get on to the normal tests. Okay, the Treadnaught is a 281 block tier 5 SMG tank, as I mentioned. It costs 225,524 RP to build from scratch. That might be on the steep side for some tier 5 players, but you always have the option of switching out some of the armor, or for example using tier 5 SMGs in the middle in addition to on the sides. For exactly that, we have 4 tier 6 SMGs towards the middle and 4 tier 5 SMGs on the outside here, simply to reduce the CPU load, as you can already see that with just a few more blocks this craft will become tier 6. In addition, we have these 4 tier 5 electroplates, which do a very good job of protecting the robot in 1v1 fights. If we come from the perspective of the enemy, almost the entire bot, apart from the weapons of course, are blocked by these electroplates, which means that it gets very good protection from these at tier electroplates in fights. Otherwise, we have these tier 5 tank treads, again at tier. If you lose one of them, you're usually out of the battle. It's very difficult to move, but at the same time these things can take a lot of punishment without being destroyed, so they're usually not the problem. Otherwise, we don't have any other movement blocks. The entire CPU load is devoted to having a strong armored bot. All these tier 5 blocks are either inners, tetras, or prisms, to make it a little bit lighter and therefore making it a little bit faster on these tank treads, which otherwise are very slow. I've also added a new statistic this time. I summed up the amount of RP that I received over the course of 23 matches and ended up getting that you need to play 80 matches on average with this bot to pay back for the entire robot, which isn't too bad actually. It translates into roughly 5.5 hours of gameplay, which is better than can be said for a lot of robots. So just for the fun fact, this robot averaged 2,787 RP per match over the course of 23 matches. Okay, time for the speed and maneuverability section of the video. You might be asking yourself, why even bother have a speed and maneuverability section of the video when you were talking about a tank? And that's because, first of all, being a two-treaded tank, it can turn around very quickly, meaning it's surprisingly maneuverable, even though it only has those rotations, can't do much more. And speed-wise, being built mainly out of inners and tetras and prisms, it doesn't have too bad of a top speed. It maxes out at around 80 miles per hour, just under there maybe, meaning that it'll be faster than a lot of tanks and even megabots if you're going to start comparing it to that. And now for some gameplay. In this first clip, we're on the ice map, and I come around a corner and immediately see a healer, and being a medic, he doesn't stand a chance and manages to take off 2 of my electroplates and 10% of my health before dying. I write to the rest of my team that the medic is down. Their team only had 1 medic if I recall correctly, so that's some important information. And then I see this guy alignment rectifying and take him out before taking out his friend, who had amazing little armor. And with 1 electroplate left, surprisingly still 7 weapons, so the redundancy is coming in handy. I keep on moving, both tank treads are still alive, and we're now at 2 times speed to make this go a little bit faster. There's a plasma launcher of some kind firing at me, which I cripple enough to leave behind, while there's a rail to my right as well. With only 1 or 2% health left, I leave him be, while focusing on this rail cruiser or rail tank with only 3 SMGs left, 1 tier 6 and 2 tier 5. He shoots off one of the tier 5 SMGs, but still, by focusing off on aiming, I managed to take him out and successfully pick up the 4th kill so far this round in just a matter of minutes. And coming around this corner, I get quite lucky and find a very crippled interceptor, which I can easily take out even with only 2 weapons left on my craft. And now for the second clip, we're starting off at 300% speed, just to make it again go a bit faster. The early game is quite simple. We're just easily taking some tap fire shots at some flyers that are posing a threat to the entire team. Here's another one, which yeah, takes his time. And when I turn around, I see two bots wreaking havoc, so I turn around and do my duty, doing our best to save our team. As you see now, we're actually down 4 players v 9 players, so for our team this isn't looking too good. Just like, first off, I managed to cripple one of those guys and fend off the other one, so without taking too much damage, I'm still in quite good shape. Back in a 2x speed, I believe, taking some more tap fire shots to try and take out this that last flyer. Successfully do so and find another SMG copter, I believe this one was. And as I'm taking fire at him, I see their medic, which happens to be a sled. And without too large difficulty, both take out him and the crippled SMG copter, which was lying there on the ground. And at the same time, see a sniper up on that ridge there. So already I've done quite a bit for the team. They're down to 2 players from their original 9 just moments ago, so the comeback might be on here, surprisingly. And back in 2x speed, just to have the drive a bit shorter. I see their sniper up on the other side of the bridge there. Take a few easy shots on him when I have the chance. But with enough of him destroyed, I can't see over the small wall, so I have to drive over to him, where it gets quite intense. He has some SMGs left, so I managed to take him out just barely while taking a lot of damage from the rail beside me. And even with only 36% health left, both of my tank treads are still intact, allowing me to move around at more or less the same speed as I started with. And even with now 31% health, I managed to somehow get the kill on this last guy here and win it for our team with 2 weapons, an electric plate, and somehow 2 tank treads left. This is my last clip. We're already about 3 minutes into the game, where I go back to our own base and find a enemy plasma wreaking havoc, so I do my best to take him out while an SMG comes up on the ridge behind me. I managed to kill this robot, luckily, and fend off the SMG up on the ridge there successfully. And going to chase him down, I'm quite damaged on the rear of my vehicle because I was careless while taking out that plasma bomber. And over on the wall there, I see an interceptor just barely. I didn't see him at first because he was only 2 or 3 blocks probably. At that point, I come up to the ridge here, seeing if I can take out the SMG who was taking shots, and not bothered about the interceptor, which actually managed to tap fire my 1 tank tread off. And as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this robot with 1 tank tread is pretty much worthless no matter how many guns I have on it. At this point, I'm already 1v4 under down, so their team has the obvious advantage here. And I can barely move around, but I still managed to get off that 1 kill there. And at this point, we're in some sped up portion again, while the enemy is capturing my base. So things are not looking good, but out of the blue comes one of the enemies with only a reel or 2 left. And I take a few shots at him, but because my robot is so imbalanced with only 1 tank tread, I don't get a clear shot before it's too late and he gets away. And with only moments left before I lose the match due to him capturing, I managed to get a shot off with pretty much no time to spare. It was literally tenths of a second left. And I managed to get the last kill there, so I have now 2 opponents left, and now we're actually in 6x speed, just to make this a little bit faster because it's a really long clip. And I see one of the enemies over there is probably the interceptor that shot off my tank tread in the first place, and I spend way too long trying to get over there, but eventually I do manage to do so and shoot him dead. And a helpful teammate writes in the chat that maybe I should try alignment rectifying, and I thank him very much for that. It was the key to this match. And I keep on moving around trying to get away from my own base, seeing that time is running out, only 60 seconds left on the clock right now. when, as if our savior had come, there comes their last enemy, and somehow managed to win with one tank tread 4v1. And in the chat reflects it as well. Now, time for the final summary of the tier 5 SMG tank I like to call the Treadnaught. First off, in design, it's getting a 5. It doesn't look half bad, but it's obviously built around practicality, and I'm not quite sure about the electroplates. They fit well, but they're still a little bit wonky, I feel. Second off, speed. Being a tank, it's naturally going to score badly with speed, but I've decided to give it a 2 and not a 1 because it's mainly built out of inners, and meaning it's more lightweight than a lot of other tanks, and therefore a little bit faster than the very slowest of the vehicles in the game. For maneuverability, I've decided to give it a 6, even though it is a tank and therefore quite slow. It only has 2 treads, meaning it can turn around the dime and retreat or go other directions whenever it needs to. In lethality, it's getting an 8. I think the gameplay that I've shown off has spoken for itself. While using this craft, almost every round I got at least 3 kills, and some of them I was getting up towards 5, 6, or even 7 kills when there were only 10 to 12 opponents. So I think that pretty much speaks for itself. And also matched with its durability, as in it has a lot of redundancy with the 8 SMGs. It simply takes quite a lot to take down this robot one-on-one. For durability, it's getting a 9. Its only downfall when it comes to durability is its behind. Its behind is quite open, and this tank, the pilot seat is towards the back of it. So if you get jumped from behind, you're probably going to die pretty quickly. But otherwise, this thing can take a lot of punishment without really showing it, as multiple of the gameplay clips have already shown off. All in all, it scores a total of 30 out of a maximum 50 points, which is slightly lower than some of the other bots that I've reviewed so far, but it does not mean it's any less fun to play, as I enjoyed just as much playing with this bot as I have my previous 2 so far. That's all for this review. I hope you liked both the video and the Treadnaught itself. I do spend quite a lot of time both recording the gameplay, the commentary, and editing afterwards, so I do appreciate any and all feedback on any aspect of my videos. I do my best to look at the feedback I receive and improve my videos in every way possible. For example, I hope the audio quality has improved from my previous videos where I messed up a little bit, and I've also added some new ideas that I've had over the course of making these videos. For example, the rounds to repay a robot, which I added in this video first. So additions like that hopefully make my channel stand out from all the others. Again, thanks for watching.